So when we get to June, Harry and Dean continue to investigate the murder of the dead boy, and Dean comments on the Chips and Tings van, which he says is a front for drugs. So that's another example of crime and social deprivation that surrounds Harry's area and surrounds somebody who is quite young, quite innocent, like Harry. Harry also overhears conversations on the bus about various criminal activities. So, for example, when he hears, "I got the cheese, I couldn't get camembert, they didn't have none, I had to get brie instead," it's another example of dramatic irony, so the audience knowing something that the characters don't. So Harry's unaware that the cheese represents drugs. Later in the section, we see Julius and Auntie Sonia again, and Sonia has a bruised nose and eye, which is a hell of different colours, like a rainbow. And Sonia claims that she was hit by a suitcase, but Mama is suspicious of this, and the reader realises that Sonia appears to be in a violent relationship with Julius. So perhaps this is another insight into the dangerous relationships and situations that immigrants find themselves in. Later on in the section, Chanel and Mikita fight on the playground. They cause a ruckus, so that's a quotation for that. Harry grows very worried that they're going to kill each other, but Killer wasn't laughing, and he storms off Officer Crossfire and tells him, "You made this shit." So that's an example of how the gang violence and the men causes people, young girls, to act in this way. And shortly after that, Killer breaks Harry's binoculars into a million pieces. Remember, if something's in a million pieces, it cannot be put together. And if the binoculars represent Harry's sense of childhood, it is beginning to be broken apart. Harry realises at this point that Killer should be placed on his suspect list, which is deeply ironic, as the reader has already known for some time that he's definitely involved in this murder of the dead boy. Harry also witnesses a nasty scene in the market where Nish and his wife from Pakistan are dragged through the streets for being illegal immigrants, and Harry reports they put chains on their arms, and he seems to be really upset by this. He sees the Pakistani flag flying in Nish's van, and he comments that stars stand for freedom. Harry believes in stars in quite an innocent way, but he does begin to realise here, or he's beginning to realise, that the world isn't necessarily innocent. And it leads him into that incident where his mama tells him to stay away from Jordan, and he actually tells his mama to fuck off, which is quite disturbing actually for the reader, who's seen this little boy and he's quite innocent, and he likes Haribo, he wants to try all the flavours of Haribo, but he ends up saying that to his mama, and it leads Harry to believe that Agnes is going to die because of his behaviour. So you've got that element of sort of superstition creeping in. At the end of this section, you see Harry giving Lydia her birthday present. So this is actually my favourite moment of the novel, when they put their footprints into the cement. And it echoes the pigeon's advice to leave monuments to ensure future generations know your legacy and know that you were there. And it's heartbreaking when you actually think that Harry dies at the end of the novel, but actually these footprints will stay there for quite a long time. And it's at this that the pigeon informs society. So he's not talking to Harry necessarily, but he's talking to the reader, and he's saying, we all want to be the sea, but you're not the sea, you're just a raindrop, one of an endless number. So this seems to be one of the most important messages of the novel. It's a socialist message. It's calling for equality. We're all the same. We all make up that sea. So the pigeon argues that we need to see ourselves as individual raindrops, but part of a whole. So rather than the whole, each of us is not a whole in ourselves, but we need each other. And at the very end of the last chapter of the section, Harry and Dean find the dead boy's wallet, which is sticky with darker stains on it. And they also find a picture in there of the dead boy with his white girlfriend. So Harry remarks she's similar to Poppy, and Kelman here is ensuring the reader draws parallels between the dead boy and Harry. They're quite similar in their personalities and who they associate with.